Hi, today I'm going to show you how to make fruity cocktail meatballs, gluten-free, dairy-free, with what you have in your refrigerator. Now we all have jellies, half a jar of jelly in there, so why can't you just use that to make them instead of just grape jelly like a lot of people do? So first of all, I like to have veggies in my meatballs. And the reason behind that is I feel that it gives moisture to them when they're baking, especially in gluten-free recipes. Because the flour is different than regular bread that everybody eats. First of all, I'm going to put my carrots in. This is about a half a cup of carrots. And I want to do them first because they're harder than the onions and everything. So I'm going to do that. Perfect. I'm going to add a half an onion. I've cut it up a little bit just to help the processor. And then I have a jalapeno. This is optional. If you have little kids that can't stand the heat, leave it out. And then I'm going to have some parsley to put in there. And we're going to just grind it up to where it's almost liquefied. Scrape the bowl down and give it one more spin around the block. That's good. Okay, now that's out of the way. We're going to do our meat. Let me get this out of the way over here. And then here, get this out of the way. Sorry. What I have here is a pound of hamburger and 1 pound of Italian sausage that I'm removing the casings, the outer casings from. Now let me show you how to do that. This is your Italian sausage, and I prefer all the meat at room temperature. Because if you've ever mixed meatloaf with your hands with cold meat, it freezes your fingers off. So everything here is gluten-free. I have a pesky fly bothering me. I'm going to add half a cup of ground up stuffing mix. Now what I did is I went to Aldi's and I bought their gluten-free stuffing mix, and then I put it in the food processor and ground it up more. I'm also going to add 2 teaspoons of garlic powder and a teaspoon of onion powder. Now you can add real garlic in here, but I really prefer the powder today. So when I mix meatloaf, I put on these fun gloves because the meat gets under my fingernails. These are kind of hard to get on. This is just drugstore latex. I don't even know if they're latex. If you're allergic to latex, you don't want this kind. But I don't know if it's powder free. I do know that. And they're called exam gloves, sort of like what your doctor would have. I should have bought black ones for Halloween, but I didn't. Here I have 2 eggs beaten up with a little bit of water. I'm going to say 2 tablespoons of water. And also the eggs are room temperature. And then I'm going to start mixing our meat and our crumbs and our eggs. They say don't overmix it because it'll get tough. Let me get the meat done first, and then we'll add the veggies. Get it pretty well blended up. Now if you feel you need more breadcrumbs to hold it together, add some more. A lot of recipes call for 1 cup of breadcrumbs. No, I think I'm going to wait on the rest of that. Still breaking up the sausages with my thumbs. Now these are going to be baked meatballs. If you're using a crock pot, you could actually put them in raw and put them on high for, they say, 4 hours on high, and then put your sauce over top of it, put it in your crock pot and let it go. And then when you're ready for a party, you just take your crock pot to the party, or in my case at home, and then you put it on warm, and it keeps them warm all day so people can nibble at them, especially around Thanksgiving when you smell the turkey and you can't wait for it, you're hungry. So I'm going to finish this and get the cookie sheet and show you how I roll the meatballs. Welcome back. I'm going to show you how to make these meatballs. What I have here is a cookie, what do they call them? Scoop. I couldn't remember. And it's about 1 inch. And I'm going to make my meatballs by rolling them in my hands like that. And sometimes I like to squeeze them together. I forgot to tell you, when you make your meat, let it sit for about 5 minutes and let those breadcrumbs soak into your meat, because they are gluten-free and they're different from regular breadcrumbs. People online were saying that you could make your own fresh breadcrumbs by using gluten-free bread. They say, why waste your money on the specialty breadcrumbs, and you could just put it in your food processor and have fresh breadcrumbs from your gluten-free bread. And that would probably work too. I just didn't have any bread right now. Okay, I'm going to finish rolling these, and we're going to put them in the oven for 20 minutes on 400, and then when they come out, I'll show you the next step. Okay, now we're going to make the sauce while the meatballs are in the oven. And I like to put it in a pan, either this frying pan or in a pan on the stove, and combine all the flavors together by boiling it, or I should say simmering it, for 15 minutes. And what that does is it allows all the flavors to come together, especially the brown sugar and everything. And it melts the jellies and jams a little so it won't be too thick. Now, this is what I had today. I had almost a cup of orange marmalade in a jar left over in the refrigerator. And I also had some black raspberry jam. Who says it has to be grape jelly? So I'm going to put that in here. This makes me happy when I'm doing recipes like this. And then I have half a cup of barbecue sauce of your choice. Could use my zippy bourbon barbecue sauce I made in a video, but I don't have any left over of that. I gotta get on the ball. And then I got 2 tablespoons of orange juice. That goes with your orange marmalade. And then I have some orange zest that I zested off the orange before I juiced it. And that was half of a big navel orange that I juiced. A little bit of extra flavor there. Here I have 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce and 2 teaspoons of soy sauce. And here I have 1 tablespoon of brown sugar and a teaspoon of ancho chili powder. Now if you don't have it or don't want to use it, just leave it out. We prefer the ancho chili powder over the regular chili powder, but it doesn't even have to go in there. Okay, now we have 2 teaspoons of, you know what, Dijon mustard. Just 2 teaspoons. And we have a little bit of pepper. I'm not putting salt in this right now. Reason being is the soy sauce is salty, and I want to taste it before I put the meatballs in to see if it does need any salt. Now here comes my secret ingredient. About a tablespoon and a half of spiced rum. And you're wondering why spiced rum? It's pumpkin crazy all over the place, so I'm going to use some spice. It's just a subtle note of cinnamon and other spices, and it's got a vanilla note to it. So I'm going to mix this up. I'm going to take it over the stove and start to cook it a little bit, whisking it every once in a while, and I'll be back. Okay, the meatballs were done. I didn't make as much meatballs as I had meat, only because there's only 2 of us here. Now if I was making it for a party, I would have used the whole thing. Now I put it in the sauce, which I cooked for about 10 minutes on the stove to get the liquor boiled out of it, the rum, to just leave the flavoring of it. And I'm going to coat these with the sauce. Now you can, if you're making a meal instead of a party appetizer, you can put this over rice. It's sort of a sweet and sour sauce, and that would be good for dinner. Or you can make the meatballs bigger for dinner. And I made these party size because of all the parties, football and Halloween going on. Now here's what it looks like. Okay. To finish this up, if you're in a crock pot, just get your toothpicks, put toothpicks, or leave the toothpicks out in like a little jar or glass so that they can take the toothpicks, put it on their plate, and go eat the appetizers. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. It's not hard. It just takes a little bit of time to put it together, but it's worth it. And they're very hot right now, so I'm not sure I'm going to taste them, but I can guarantee they're really good. Please subscribe to my channel. Push the subscribe button down here and ring the bell, and come back for more excellent surprise recipes. Bye.